You're teaching your son to be a criminal." That was the first thing she said. Her voice cut across the water so sharp, I swear even the fish flinched. The lake's not big, not private, not anything fancy, but it's always been our spot. Me and my boy Dash fishing on quiet Saturday mornings since my wife died. You'd think people would leave you alone in your grief, but no, some folks see pain and just want to pour salt in it. HOA President Beatrice Thornhill. She didn't even bother with good morning. Just snapped a picture, told us we'd regret it. And 3 days later, a $500 fine landed in my mailbox for illegal fishing. Now here's where she messed up. She thought I'd just take it, hang my head, pay up, and slink away. She assumed I wouldn't fight. She assumed wrong. But let me back up a sec, because if you want to know how I ended up at war with an HOA, buying a whole lake and turning a community upside down, you got to understand what that spot meant to us. It started 3 weeks before the explosion, just me and Dash sitting on the old wooden dock at Clearwater Lake. Fog on the water, sun peeking up over the trees. After Iris died, that dock became our healing place. My boy was 16, still lost, quieter than he used to be. He'd bait his hook just how his mom taught him, careful, patient, gentle, in a way he's never been anywhere else. Those mornings were the only time I saw him almost peaceful. Then Beatrice showed up in her HOA golf cart, looking like she was running for mayor of some suburban country nobody else wanted to live in. "You're fishing," she snapped like it was a crime. I told her, "Yeah, we fish here most weekends." Her lips got tighter and she started quoting rules. Section 7.3.2, unauthorized use of community property, blah, blah, blah. I could feel Dash stiffen beside me, his cheeks going red. She didn't care. She just raised her phone and took a picture of us. "You'll be receiving a formal notice within 3 business days, she said, and drove away, leaving us on that dock feeling like we'd robbed a bank. I wanted to tell Dash it was nothing, but the truth is I didn't know. When you're grieving, you cling to little routines, and when someone threatens those, it feels like a second loss. That shutter sound, her phone's camera, was the match. 3 days later, I got the fine $500 for fishing. Pay up or face bigger penalties. She posted our picture in the community group too, captioned with some lecture about community values. Hundreds of people dogpiled in the comments calling me selfish and titled a bad father. Dash saw it. Didn't say a word, just closed his door and disappeared for the night. That's when I got mad. Not the loud shouting kind of mad, the cold, focused kind. I wasn't paying that fine. I wanted to know what gave Beatrice the right to shame my son and turn our healing place into a crime scene. So I did something I should have done years ago. I started digging. Property records, easements, anything I could find. And it turns out the HOA didn't actually own the lake. An old easement agreement from 1995 gave them access, but it expired in 2020, 3 years ago. No one renewed it. Legally, they had no control over the water at all. That changed everything. I printed out every document, highlighted every clause, and went to see my neighbor, Mr. Bellamy, retired real estate attorney, the kind of guy who still wears a cardigan in summer. I laid out the evidence and told him what Beatrice had done. He wasn't surprised, said she'd been pulling stunts like that for years. Wrong paint color, mailbox, too tall flowers in the wrong season. Most people just paid the fines and moved on. But this was different. If the easement was expired, the HOA's rules didn't mean squat on that lake, and every fine she'd issued for it was void. Then Bellamy leaned in like he was about to tell me a state secret. The owner of Clearwater Properties, LLC, was in trouble, bankruptcy, pandemic, debts. Beatrice had tried to buy the lake last year for pennies on the dollar, probably so she could keep running her little kingdom. I asked for the owner's number and got it along with a warning, if you do this, you'll be her new enemy. I drove home, sat in my driveway thinking about Iris, about all the money I'd saved for Dash's college for emergencies, and about her last words to me at that dock, promise me you'll keep bringing him here no matter what. This place is healing. Don't let anyone take it away from you. So I called the owner, set up a meeting. He was desperate to sell but wanted a promise to keep the lake wild. I made that promise. The money was tight, life insurance, every bit of savings, even the retirement fund, but I scraped it together and offered $870,000 cash closing in 3 weeks. The owner blinked when I handed over the bank statement. Why, he asked. Why risk everything for a lake? Because my son was humiliated, because my wife loved this place, because the HOA president had turned grief into a weapon. That was enough. Meanwhile, I started talking to other neighbors, found a local blogger who'd been documenting Beatrice's reign of terror for years. She had records, dozens of fines, thousands of dollars. Together, we pulled in more residents, collected affidavits, and built a binder thick as a phone book. We'd file a formal complaint with the state, expose Beatrice's self-dealing and fake consulting contracts. But the closer closing day got, the more anxious I became. What if the HOA sued? What if the other buyers swooped in? I hired a tough real estate attorney. She checked the paperwork, confirmed it all. The HOA had no legal claim. As long as I didn't lock everyone out of the lake, I was safe. That stuck with me. If I wanted to win, I couldn't become the villain in Beatrice's place. So I wrote up a simple access policy. Everyone in the community gets free use of the lake. No permits. Just don't litter, don't blast music after 9, respect the water. That was it. No more tickets, no more power games. Just common sense. The night of the HOA meeting, same day, I closed on the lake. The room was packed. You could feel it, that nervous buzz, like everyone knew a storm was coming. Beatrice started the meeting reading from her agenda, but she was really just waiting to make an example of me. Mr. Merrick, she said, you have unpaid fines totaling $3,000. The board has voted to suspend your privileges. I stood up, briefcase in hand. Does the HOA have legal authority over Clearwater Lake? I asked. She blustered, waved it off. That's when I produced the expired easement and the fresh deed with my name on it. The room went silent, then exploded. Beatrice sputtered, threatened lawsuits, but my attorney shut it down. Property ownership is absolute. I read the new access policy out loud. Effective immediately, the lake is open to all residents, free and clear. Someone started clapping, then another. Before long, a third of the room was on their feet. But it wasn't over. The blogger stood up and asked about Beatrice's self-dealing $23,000 a year in consulting fees paid to her own company with no competitive bidding and no real oversight. The retired lawyer called out the fake board votes. Her own board members started backing away. 2 resigned on the spot. Someone called for a vote of no confidence. It passed 42-6. Beatrice was removed right there. She gathered her things and left, didn't say a word. That felt like justice, cold, clean overdue. But karma kept coming. The state attorney general opened an investigation. Turns out Beatrice had funneled nearly $50,000 out of HOA funds into her own company. Fake invoices, ghost employees, the works. She was arrested, charged with embezzlement and fraud. Her broker's license got suspended. Her whole empire crumbled. The HOA elected a new board, more open, more honest. The blogger joined the retired lawyer, became an advisor. They cleaned up the lake, posted financials online, rebuilt trust. And me, I kept my promise to Iris. I built a little pavilion by the water, put up a plaque in her memory. Healing comes from community. Dash and I went back to fishing, and over time other families joined us. The lake became what it was meant to be. Somewhere people felt safe. Somewhere you could breathe. Somewhere nobody's shame could touch you. There's a lesson here, though I didn't see it at first. Justice doesn't feel like fireworks. It's quieter, heavier, more bittersweet. Standing up for what's right costs you sometimes everything, but it gives back too in ways you can't predict. The truth is, revenge destroys, but justice restores. I could have locked that lake down, but I didn't. I made it better. So would you risk everything for a shot at justice? Or would you let a bully win just to keep the peace? I want to hear your story. Drop a comment. Was I right? Was it worth the cost? Or would you have walked away? Because sometimes doing the right thing means you go broke, you lose friends, you piss off all the wrong people, but you sleep at night knowing you kept your promise. If this story moved you, let me know where you're watching from. Share your own battles with power, or just tell me what you think about right and wrong. And hey, don't forget, this world's full of stories. Some might even be yours.